if we follow your prescription, let's
not
just
a prescription.
Well, let's say
but
it
I'm
was.
saying all I'm asking is the question is what's in it for the guy. Like if you're gonna sell something, if you're gonna sell a prescription, which I don't do, but I'm saying like you have to answer the question: what does he get?
I think that there are virtuous women that men can still get. And that they can practically get them, and that they exist all over the place, and there's millions of them.
Yeah, but Aaron Clary's run the numbers on that. That's not true. Like if you calculate,
I've read Aaron Clary's, so I've read Aaron Clary's book, right? But what is just so you know, right? 1% of 300 million, still 3 million. Still a lot of women, right? And his numbers are not saying 1% are marriageable. And what he's giving is a spectrum, right? He's saying, look, if you're willing to put up with X, there's going to be 50% of women available for you. If you're willing to put up with Y, there's 30%, right? But if you want a chaste virgin, no tattoo, no trauma, it's a very small percentage. It's like, well, yeah, of course it is. But that probably was, it's probably always been the case in sexual liberation, that if you wanted a chaste virgin women, no tattoos, no trauma,
I don't know
that it's going to
be
a small
promiscuity
percentage.
was even calculated in the study.
Chastity, virginity.
Yeah, it was. That wasn't in there. No, he didn't calculate that. It was debt. It was tattoos. That's true.
Yeah.
It was obesity. It was I think those are the three main things. It was number of tattoos, debt, and obesity.
Oh, see, I would have calculated in chastity too.
Yeah, I know. But so he said 1% when you just calculate debt, obesity, and you know,
are marriageable.
Yeah.
Yeah, from his metrics.
Yeah. So yeah, okay.
Is,
if you want to pay off a girl's debt, cool. But and then he didn't even include like sex work. So like again, it's kind of asking the question like, what's in it for the average guy?
I think he did include chastity numbers. Clary did in his book. Now that I'm thinking about it,
I don't think he did. Yeah. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'll go back and take a look. I have his book, so I'll take a look. But either way, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but
ultimately, what I'm saying is like, so when we're looking at those metrics, you're looking at the metrics for marriageable. It's like, well, let me ask you a question. What makes you marriageable?
Nothing.
So nothing makes you marriageable?
No. I mean, I have no debt, no tattoos. I wish I was a little younger, but yeah.
No debt,
no tattoos.
No debt, no tattoos?
I mean, I'm a nice person. I can cook. I'd be a good mom. Yeah. So
I would say then that if those are the categories we're looking at, like body count's not even in there, this and that. When we're talking about debt too, how much debt? It's like if you come into a relationship with $10,000 in debt, I don't think men care. I think the average is
$25,000.
That's still not bad. Honestly, $25,000.
Yeah, but the average guy makes like $40,000 a year.
Yeah, and average amount of time it takes off to pay off $25,000 of debt if you're hyper focused on it, even if you're making
right. But you could say, but like this isn't a great sell, right? Like that's what I keep asking. Like, what's in it for the guy? Now you're saying, well, you can get a wife, but now you
no. Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying, these things that you say are, very high. Like, don't do it because it's like. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Should I pass on a woman if she's very virtuous and she'll give me 4 children, she's super fertile because she has $20,000 in debt? Should I pass on her?
That's up to you.
Yeah, but
I don't.
Right. See,
I don't
but that's
say,
what I mean, right? That's the thing
shouldn't.
about the red pill that gets me. It's like.
But you keep switching it. I'm not asking you. I'm saying I'm not saying do it or don't do it. I'm saying what's in it for the guy.
Virtuous woman.
And I'm saying on a balance of probabilities, they can't get that and you can't prove it.
Can't prove what?
How would you know if a woman's virtuous?
Yeah, but I mean, well, how do you know anything?
But you're dodging the question.
Well, I'm not.
Like how could you prove that?
Yeah,
like there's
the same way that you can prove anything.
Women's sex drive starts at like 16, and that's. I mean, I'm not even going to go and,
Yeah, but
the average woman loses her virginity at 16. The average age of first marriage is like 28.
So
29.
when you're looking at probabilities, right? This is what your big thing is. Like, let's look at the average and the angst of probability.
No, I just wanted to answer the question, what's in it for the guy? Like not do it despite this.
That's what would be in it for the guy. It would be a virtuous woman that would give them children, be a good mother to them. That's what they would be moving towards.
Right. But on average, they're probably not going to get that.
Yeah, there's going to be less of them.
Yeah.
So there's all sorts of mitigation strategies. One thing is a mitigation strategy is they get brides from elsewhere. That seems to work out for some.
Oh no, you can't do that.
No, you don't like the passport bros?
No, do you know what? If you bring them back here, one of the worst divorce
you stay
story,
there. You stay there.
Yeah, but no guy wants to move to, like, in general, like, women are 85% of travelers. So men in general, they don't like to travel. Like, most guys don't. Like, if I had to sell my brothers on move to another country to find a good woman.
Okay, so let me get this.
Most people don't want to, like, uproot their whole life.
So let me get this right. So then, if I were to follow Pearl Davis's, like, entire viewpoint here, I just want to make sure I get it right. I'll steel man it. I'm going to steel man it.
Go ahead.
There's no virtuous women, right? Basically any.
Didn't say none.
Well, okay. Basically any. There's very few virtuous women. And
that's true. You'd agree that's true.
I would agree that there's.
That's true. That's objectively, there's not many.
Yeah, I would agree that it's less than 50%. Yes.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. So we're on the same. Okay. We agree.
So because of that, men, right, they're not going to be left with the choice of getting virtuous women. So they just kind of fuck whoever if they feel like it. Because that's what's left to them.
I'm saying that's already what's happening.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm saying if we want to.
But what should happen though?
Well, I don't say what should happen.
Yeah, but I'm asking you.
I say what is.
Yeah, so
I say I can't.
So what do we do about that though? How does how's that helpful?
But my question is,
it is burning. It's like, well, how do we put it out? But it is burning.
Yeah, but the way you're acting as if I have any control over what the world does. I can't control that. I can't. I didn't make this society. I can't control how the world is. Right?
Yeah, I get it.
So. I just keep asking the question, what's in it for the man?
That would be what would be in it for men.
And I don't
for
think,
marriage.
But I don't think there are enough virtuous women that's going to be a good selling point, because it can't be verified for one. And probability wise, it's less than 50%.
Well, what's the alternative to it though?
Well, it's already what's happening. It's why men are, like, bowing out. The sexes are going apart.
They don't seem like they're happier because they're bowing out. They seem like they're happier when they find these versions. So let's just say,
I don't know. I've met some older players. They really are not in a bad.
Yeah, most of the guys I talk to play the field. When I talk to them privately, they're like, I wish I get a different story. But let's just assume. I'm just going to assume the world for a second. 15% of women.
It's not like the guys married are in a better place. Overall, I mean, so many men are in why do you think we have phrases like happy wife, happy life?
Well, because of sitcoms.
Like
because of sitcoms.
Right, but again, if the results were so much better, it would be an easy sell.
Yeah, but let's just say it's 15% though. Let's just say it's only 15% of women are virtuous. Okay. Actually, let's just do 10. Only 10% of women are virtuous. You'd still recommend that women who wanted virtuous men marry those women, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, sure.
Yeah. So you would still want them, but why would you think that they should marry those women?
Well, it depends what they want. Well, but if I don't tell men how to live, right? That's not my place. Like, if you as a man want to go off and be by yourself till you're 50, I'm not going to tell you that's wrong.
Why not? What if it is?
Because I don't think it is.
Right. So
like,
now
I don't think it's wrong for a man to live
Pearl,
life. If he lives
you're
life
a feminist, Pearl.
Sure.
Wait, you're a feminist. You're do as thou wilt, feminist, Pearl.
Right, but why? Like, why am I to tell a man how to live?
Well, you're not telling a man how to live. You're telling women how to live.
I think that's out of order.
Yeah, I agree. You tell the women how to live. You tell those virtuous women they need to marry virtuous men.
Yeah, and you think they'll listen? Good luck.
Well, I mean, I think that they're more inclined to listen to women than men.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I've watched women watch like abortion videos and not care.
But I mean,
and still get one after.
But do as thou wilt, right? That's brutally, like, when you say I don't care ultimately, right? I don't really care. I'm like, well, you should care though, because ultimately, reason you say those 10%.
I said it's out of order for me to tell a guy how to live, right? I think that's out of order. Like, I don't think that's my place.
Okay, but here's what I'm trying to explain.
Yeah.
If you think those 10% of women who are virtuous should marry, like, the 10%, or you should get married to virtuous men.
If they want to.
The women, not the men.
They could be nuns if they want. Yeah. They could. It's not my place.
Yeah, I know.
It's your
Forget
life.
the nunnery, but if they want to get married, they shouldn't marry shitbags. They should marry virtuous men, right?
If that's what they want to do.
If that's what they want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean... So if you're just diving into, even if they're virtuous, you're not sure. I'm like, even if they're virtuous, I'm not sure what they should do. That's where I'm like, what?
again, it's not my place. Like, you have to live with the consequences of your actions. And I just think a lot of YouTubers get like a God complex where they want to tell everyone how to live. And it's not my place. It's your life.
Yeah, but I mean,
like, it's if you get to live life on your own terms.
Would you tell men like not to become trannies?
I mean, if they want to do that, I'd rather they didn't. But
yeah, see, okay, there we go.
I'd rather not.
I'd rather they didn't.
I'd rather not. I don't really want to look at them, but let's keep that combo for YouTube.
Okay, yeah. Would you tell men like, so you wouldn't make any recommendations? Like, what if a man was like, I want to be a homosexual and have 20 gay lovers?
Well, I could give what I think is right and wrong, and that's my personal opinion. Yeah. But that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to stick to the facts.
Got it.
Yeah.
But this is great.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not a God complex then. So if you're saying, I know what's right and I know what's wrong, then you tailor.
But according to my worldview.
Yeah. Right? So you would tailor that worldview though to the outcomes you wanted to see in society. That's not a God complex. That's just like picking your neighbors, right?
Right. But I don't agree because, again, I think that every man has a right to live life on his own terms. And you're kind of dodging the question, which
ask it directly and I'll give you a yes or no.
Which is what's in it for the men.
Yeah.
Like what is in it for him?
So I'll repeat it again. What does a man get out of which thing? A marriage?
Yeah.
Yeah. What he would get or what he'd be seeking for a marriage would be a virtuous, non-vexing wife who gave him children, was a good mother.
But we agree that most men aren't going to get that, correct?
We would agree
because that's less than 50%.
Yes, we would agree that is the case.
And until conservatives can answer that question for men, it's going to keep going down. But I'm not saying it's good.
Didn't I just answer the question though?
What?
Yeah, so what is it that they're getting out of marriage? Or what is it that they should be wanting and getting out of marriage?
Not should. I said what, but what are they getting now?
Oh, descriptively. Yes.
Yeah. And that's what I'm getting at.
But we already agree descriptively that's the case. What I'm after is the next part where we're like, okay, so what the fuck are we going to do about this shit? That's where I'm at.
Well, maybe you can start and change the laws and whatever. I just don't see it happening in my lifetime.
Really? You don't think so? You don't think there's any possibility that people can run a social movement to change any of this stuff?
I don't see any evidence that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole economy is run on the female dollar. Women make I always look at it as women, you make $8 off of women and $2 off of men.
For like the pink tax. The pink tax.
No. Women make 80% of consumer buying decisions. So there's so many industries that just depend off of women working.
Sure.
And women spending money. And I just don't see it changing. I hope you're right.
It changed. Well, I mean,
I hope you're right.
How does the propaganda work though that gets all the women in the workforce against their will? All the propaganda can't work to get them out of the workforce.
But I don't think it's propaganda like that. I think it's what women want to do.
Women want to do what?
Women wanted to work. Women didn't want to have kids. Want to work.
Definitely not. And they definitely. It seems like when I look at the regrets that I hear from women. More than anything, by the time they hit their 40s, was that they did that shit and that they feel like they were completely lied to about it.
Yeah, that's what they say. But that's kind of like a fat person, like saying they want to lose weight, but they don't take any steps to like make it happen. They don't really want to lose weight.
I mean, that's common.
Like if women have, like we get thousands of options on a dating app.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like if you wanted to, you would, but we don't. So what does that tell you? It's not what we want to do.
Well,